But today we're very fortunate to be joined by one of the most popular figures in British comedy. In a career that spans some 5 decades, he's written and performed some of the funniest and most influential programmes ever, from classic radio like The Goon Show to his own long-running TV series. And at 75, he's yet to run out of energy, with a major part in a forthcoming stage play and a brand new novel all in the offing. I know you're going to give the most enormous welcome to our Prince of Chuckles, Eric Sykes.
Thank you. Hello.
I'll let you sip on Mr. T, actually, Eric.
Thank you.
It is so good to see you in and around our house. It is very nice.
I thought you were taller than that. Never mind.
I fit very neatly under the arm. That's the trick.
Yes, love.
I tell you, knowing that you were coming on today, I was just thinking we've had the results of the 75th anniversary, the birthday, if you like, of Radio Times. And in the poll for the favourite comedy of all time, you had Morecambe and Wise on telly, and you had Hancock's Half Hour on the radio. But it doesn't really say an awful lot for modern-day comedy, does it? So what do you think about modern comics?
No, I don't. I didn't enter for that, by the way.
Otherwise you would.
No, I can't say a lot for them because I haven't been able to watch them for ages. I mean, the best thing on my television set is a bowl of fruit. And since they took the epilogue off, I've not watched a lot. So, you see, the old days, we all took comedy as a calling. You see, somebody said, I heard one of these young modern comics being interviewed, and he said, when I was 12-year-old, I decided to be a comic. And I was sitting alone, and I went like that. And, no, I think it was that arm, like that. And, you know, I thought, well, nobody decides to be a comic. You can decide to be a doctor, you can decide to be an actor, but not a comic. The audience decide whether you're going to be a comic. And most of the comics, like Frankie Howard, Tommy Cooper, Jimmy Edwards, all these people, they were a bit hurt when people laughed at them when they went on. And if Frank had to say, like, that he was going to hospital to have a serious operation, you'd go, oh, yes. And you'd be surprised. I said, no, I'm serious. And you'd laugh at him because this was Frank. Or Tommy Cooper. He thought he'd walk in a room in a very sharp suit and he'd walk in like 007, you know. and straight away they'd be laughing. And, you know... But the comics of today, it seems to me, they've come out of university, whereas comics of yesterday, my day, came out of poverty. And we came out because we always... I mean, I just enjoyed doing it. Like before the war, I was doing things in a pub for half a crown, and I won't tell you what I was doing in a pub for half a crown. But and this... You know, I was just stupid enough to do it and to like it, and it's been a calling, and that's why at my age, I can't remember how old that is, but I'm still doing it. And all those people I've mentioned, they all died when they were working. Mm. And nowadays, it seems to me that when they get to be about 35, they think, well, that's it, I must stop being silly now.
But also, the whole point is that all the comics you've mentioned, you know, everybody had theatre to learn their trade. They spent years and years and years maybe being bottom the bill, moving a bit up, second bill, you know, for a long, long time.
Oh, they did. Oh, we had all that training, and it was lovely because when you were, like, bottom of the bill, or you call it second on, because the dancing girls came on, then you did your bit, and nobody listened to it, and then... the only laugh I got was from the manager. And, but the thing was that when you did that, you had to be 20 years or something, and you were watching the star of the show, the person that people would all pay their money to see. So you were learning from him. You were learning time, how to walk on a stage, and so... you know, you closed the first half, and then eventually, if you were good enough, you became the star of the show, the top of the bill. By which time you knew what it was all about. Now, there's none of that, unfortunately, these days.
And you certainly knew all about it, because your programme, Sykes, ran for how many years? 20, was it?
20 years, I think.
It's a long time for a TV
running
programme.
Time, but that was in the old days when we only had one camera. He did, and a cameraman had his cap on backwards and a brown dust jacket. But and also, they were always live in those days.
Point.
So what we had to do, it had to start, say, at like 8 o'clock and finish at 8:30, without fail. So what you'd have is the studio, the manager going like that. So you had to be quite shut up. And you finished on time, or you go like that. So you say, it's been a lovely day. And this is... And I can remember, like if it was night till morning and it's live, it means to say that hat goes up, so she said, well, I'm going to bed, Eric, now. All right, you go to bed, you leave me to lock up. In which case, she's gone off the door. Now, there's a dresser at the top of the stairs who's putting on her next day's costume. You see, and I've got the thing, and he said, I've got to look, I've got to do all this, and I've got the boilers to see too. And we haven't got a boiler, but I've got to practice in case we do, you know. Now, when I know that I've got like a tap on the top, it's time, I'll forget it. And I go upstairs to bed. And then Hat comes down dressed, and I'm then being dressed by my things.
I was going to say that Smelling of Roses deals with World War II. And, of course, you spent, what, 5 or 6 years?
5.5.
5.5, actually, in service.
Yeah.
So did you base a lot of it on what you learned during the war?
No, because that's all about the desert. That's from Tobruk, the Battle of Tobruk, until the Battle of Alamein, until the guns. That's the time scale. But I was never in the Middle East. I was in the Normandy bit and up that way. That was the economy trip. But I did know, because this is all about skullduggery. And that's it. It was written originally as a film. And I wrote this as a film, and Peter Sellers said this is the funniest film I've ever read. And of course, he got, he wanted Sophie Loren to play the girl. And then Peter O'Toole, and then he said, well, would you mind if we had Michael, what's he called, you know, with the glasses on? Michael...
McCain.
Who?
Michael Caine?
Yeah, Michael Haynes. No. I'm sorry, darling.
Caine. Is it Michael Caine you're thinking of?
That's him, him, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know why they let me out tonight. and I said, fine, and I was all set then, because it was a very funny film. Now, what happened is Peter got another film that he was doing, because he's very much international and sought after, the best thing in comedy. But I'll tell you, got to hear of it, Carl Foreman, the wonderful American director. Now, so we were all going to make this thing, and then, of course, Carl died, and then Peter got someone else. That was pushed in a drawer. And so it got, a few years later, about 20 years later, I saw it in the drawer, and I thought, this is still a good yarn. And I've written it as a book, and I think this is so funny. Do you mind if I read it?
No.
A bit. Well, hang on a minute.
Oh, you're not going to read it out loud, is that the idea?
Oh, you want me to read it out loud?
Oh, Eric, it's always a great pleasure to have you on the programme, and thank you very much. So good luck with your play in the West End.
The play in the West End?
What's it called again?
I don't know. What's it called?
Cafter's Dick.
Well, you said it, not me.
What's it about?
It's written by Alan Bennett, and we open on November the 19th at the Piccadilly Theatre. And it's a year and a day since I had my operation. A year and a day.
And a day. Oh. And you're looking great.
Yeah, do I?
You do.
Yeah, well, this time I left most of it in there. Thank you.
Eric, it was a great pleasure to see you. Thank you very much.
No,
ladies and gentlemen, Eric Sykes.
I'm going to sit here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.